We are back here on the Lynn Hayes Freeland Show. You know, one of the nice parts, the beauty of this job is I get to meet a lot of people. I get to read a lot of different books. I don't know if I've ever read one, however, like Grain of Hope, a mother's memoir. But we're going to talk about it today with the author of that book, Dolores Pratt Chandler. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So let me start just with the title, Grain of Hope. Now, a lot of our viewers aren't going to know anything about your story at this point. So what do you want them to walk away with from that title?
I want them to walk away with the fact that it only takes a little bit of hope to change your circumstance. And the reason I use the word grain is because a grain has the ability to be planted in the ground and yield an abundant field or abundant crop.
Okay.
So if you just have a little bit of hope, you can imagine how abundant your circumstances can change.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your story, because this really is your story.
Yes, it is.
And it's got ups, it's got downs, it's got struggles. How difficult was it for you to tell this story?
Very difficult, because I think when people are going through a crisis, it's very hard for them to speak. I think we internalize our pain because that's what we're used to doing. But in this book, I sort of let my pain out. And even writing it was difficult, because I found many days I couldn't see through the tears because a lot of things that I had forgotten about or had pushed back in my mind came forward. And it was almost like being there the day that it happened.
And we're going to talk about these different layers, if you will, of your story. But I want to first ask you this, because someone said to me recently, I didn't want to be there for people to give me that, oh, I feel so bad for you look. Do you know that feeling?
I don't get it as much now that but if I would have been as revealing earlier, maybe. And I think those are words that people don't necessarily want to hear. They don't want to feel that you feel pity for them. I didn't want to feel pity. So I always kept a straight face, and I did what I had to do. But behind the scenes was a different story, of course.
Story, right.
Yes.
So let's kind of, and obviously we don't want to tell everything about the book because we want people to read the book.
All right.
So I'm going to fast forward to the birth of your first child.
Okay. Well, I was a young mother to begin with. I think I was about 20 when I had my first child.
And that was your daughter?
No. I'm sorry. I was 19 when I had my first child, which was a girl, Sonia.
Okay.
And Sonia was everything that a mother would want. A beautiful, bouncing baby girl, healthy in every way. And I guess that's the greatest feeling that I had in bearing a child was her.
Now, Sonia was healthy.
She had no problems at all.
Okay, all right. So life's going on, you're happily married, your husband's working his tail off to provide for his wife and his daughter. And then you have a second child.
Yes. And when we had the second child, I'll have to say, we knew from the beginning something was wrong because of the physical features in his face. At first we thought... You
described a flat nose.
He had a flat nose. We thought initially that he may be a Down syndrome child, but he wasn't diagnosed as a Down syndrome. And another thing, he had the big toe on his foot was bent, and that was another thing that wasn't normal for a baby. But all in all, we just wanted the best. So, you know, you're happy with your children. And we felt that all the things that he had would soon be fixed. So in our minds, everything was fine.
And then eventually, now he was diagnosed with, I'm not sure even how to pronounce this. Conrad's disease.
Yes.
Conrad's disease. Did you know anything about that?
No, and most doctors didn't either. There was just one doctor that actually diagnosed him, but he was seen by many doctors that never, I guess they never paid any attention to his physical appearance.
So, how did they explain to you what Conrad's disease was?
Well, what happened is I took my son back to Well Baby Clinic to get his toe looked at because they had told me after he was born to bring him back in 6 weeks and they would straighten out that toe.
Okay.
And they started putting a cast on his foot. That really it came all the way up to his knees to correct
that toe.
And during an X-ray, I guess I think there's some kind of calcium deposits or deformities of the bone that they recognize, but the initial doctors did not diagnose anything. It was only when I think a higher level doctor or a teaching doctor got involved that he knew.
He knew what it was.
Yes.
And we're going to have to take a commercial break, but tell me this, is Conrad's disease genetic?
Yes, it's genetic.
Okay.
It's a genetic disease, although 5 generations of my family were still living and no one had ever seen it before. But it's a sort of a flukes.
Yeah.
It's a rare disease. It very, very seldom happens. And it happened to me.
It happened to you twice.
No, it happened to me 4 times.
4 times.
Yes.
4 times. We're going to stop right there, take a commercial break, and finish telling this story. Don't go away. We'll also tell you how you can get the book, Grains of Hope. So, you know what? You want to stick around. We'll be right back.